From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE. The toast is toasting, the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, on an earlier version of Mornings LALATE this morning, with breaking news, economic news across the board hitting just minutes ago. Oh boy, there's a lot of breaking news. First, the new unemployment claims came in, and you're going to be surprised. Did it show the same level of growth of this economy, a faster level of growth, or a slowing of the growth level? I'll go over that data coming in just minutes ago. And the new home sales numbers was released this morning. A very confusing number, but it also signals a big surprise for where the growth is in this economy. Remember, forced stimulus is a monthly stimulus check. The senators and the House members want to give you those monthly stimulus checks. It would be the single biggest payout ever on this channel for a single individual. But the two issues at play are bipartisan support if it happens, and if this bill takes too long to get to Congress and the economy rebounds. I'll have the big economic news in this report to show you whether you need to worry about the economic rebounding before now and July, and what's going on with that bipartisan support. The great news is that all indications now signal it's going to happen. Monthly stimulus checks between July and December, the single biggest payout. And guess what? I'll also have in this video the big new SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits lifetime increases proposed for September in the next stimulus package. That's the fifth stimulus package. I have a lot of breaking news, and I also will cover student loan debt forgiveness, the business grants, and everything else you've been asking for on this big recording of Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And we have a full room. I see Charlotte and Leanne and Ann and Donna. How are you? And it's a big mornings broadcast this Thursday morning, which you know what Thursday morning is. The new unemployment claims that come out every Thursday. And they're one of two single most important economic data factors that determine your stimulus checks. I'll be going over that in 1 second, but first, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're approaching our 1-year anniversary in just a few days. And wow, April 25th, here we come, our 1-year anniversary. We're trying to approach 400,000 subscribers. Thank you for bringing us to 394. We're just a few thousand away from 400,000. So subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, boy, this is the time to become a member. Members are getting a copy of that Elizabeth Warren letter, email address, the new bill from Mitt Romney, the new bill from other senators, including the $6,000 stimulus check bill. A lot of great stuff, so consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power. The link is at the top of the chat. This way, and in the pinned comment. Let's get to the breaking details. The new jobless claims numbers were released just minutes ago, and these numbers are important for you to understand. Remember, there are three numbers that are released that are the gauge of your stimulus checks. The President, the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, the Federal Reserve, and myself all say the same thing, that stimulus is dependent upon jobs and unemployment. So we have two different numbers that are released at different intervals, but they amount to really three numbers. First, once a month, we have the number of jobs created data that's released that reveals how many jobs were created and how many jobs are missing in the prior month. It's a 1-month delayed number. We had that in March, and it showed our biggest increase ever. 1 million jobs created in the month of March from a prior month of 300,000 jobs. With 8 million jobs missing, it meant that we had restored 1 million on track to potentially do another million this month. But Wall Street analysts after that report said, no, they think the growth rate could accelerate and we could restore in this month, April, 2 million jobs, which would mean 2 into 8, we would be fully restored in 4 months. Well, that's big, important news to understand going into today's financial news because forced stimulus would be voted upon in 4 months from now. It's important to understand this is the graphic at play. Forced stimulus would go to a vote and the money would go out in July. And so you don't want to worry and be fretting that the economy is rebounding by August and that senators, Democrats, House members, Democrats get cold feet because they see the numbers improving too much in 4 months. So then what is the other number that determines how quickly this economy is rebounding for purposes of you getting stimulus checks? The new jobless claims. And that number is a once-a-week number, released every Thursday morning. If you've been with me for 40-plus weeks, you've seen it every Thursday morning. Before the pandemic, we were having about 200,000 new jobless claims per week. As soon as the pandemic hit, we went to 1 million. We stayed at 1 million for about 22 weeks, and then we started to go into the 800 and the 700. 1 week ago, we shocked everyone. As America had been at 700,000 the previous week, they were expecting us to stay at 700,000 new jobless claims, and we came in at 500,000 jobless claims last week. It was the lowest number since March 20th. So what did we do this morning? Drum roll, here you go. Yep, there we are. Last week we did 576, and this week we did 547. So we improved. And in fact, we also beat estimates. Wall Street is expecting the numbers to get worse. They're expecting us to go from last week, 576, upwards to 603. We dropped to 547. Now, this is a great number for purposes of stimulus checks. It's not a great number for purposes of economic recovery. What does it show? You know what it sees. You know what it shows. You can tell by the two top numbers. It shows that our growth rate is no change from the week before. We're staying at relatively the same growth rate. We are not speeding up in our recovery, which goes back to the big issue for July. And here's the other number that came out this morning. Continuing UI unemployment claims, which is the third number that's incredibly important in determining stimulus, came in minutes ago, and it showed that we remained relatively flat. 17.4 million continuing unemployment claims, the previous week 16.9. So for purposes of stimulus, this means the following, very simple. We're improving, but we're not improving at a faster rate than we were a week or 2 weeks ago. Oh, can we breathe a sigh of relief? Breathe a sigh of relief. Just put that feet up and take a bigger sip of that cup of coffee right now. Because yes, we were a little bit worried about a week ago or 2 weeks ago if this economy was accelerating in its recovery faster than anyone could predict, and that suddenly maybe those congressional leaders could get cold feet about your stimulus checks by July. Well, so far, we're good. We're not accelerating any faster in our recovery this week than we have in the last 2 weeks. We're improving, but we're not improving at an exponential rate than we were before. Great news. Great news. So now let's go back to those stimulus checks and those monthly stimulus checks. Viewers have asked me, is it going to happen? I've always told you there's two factors, economic recovery and bipartisanship. Economic recovery not happening too fast. So we're good. So far on that. And until it looks bad, I will tell you. But so far, we're very good on this one. So how much stimulus are we at issue here? The House members want to pay you $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. They want to pay you a stimulus check for the extent of the pandemic plus 1 year. House members want to give you a stimulus check every month for this pandemic still going on, and then add an additional year on top of that. So that could amount to 18 checks. The senators want to give you stimulus checks between now and December. And then let's look at who's at play. House members are progressive, Senate members are Democrats, more elder statesmen. And what's really important to understand is that the Senate Democrats, who are elder statesmen, have a lot of standalone bills that they are going to try to put in the forced stimulus. They want forced stimulus because they have a lot of items, legislative priorities they're going to try to slide in there, whether it's minimum wage hikes or anything else like fossil fuels. Okay, so there we go. The House members want to pay $1,000 a month over 18 months approximately. That would be $18,000. Senators, we don't have the amount, but let's look at this. Wall Street and insiders and word on the street says the senators want to pay about $2,000 a month, which would amount to $12,000 for a single individual. And the other possible number word on the streets hearing is $1,400 a month, which would amount to $8,400 between now and December. Again, this number is just for a single individual. This is not for a household. So if you make less than $75,000, this is for you. If you are a married couple, make $150,000 or less, this is you times two, because two people. It's up to a household of four, so you would take this number and times it by 4. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits, this is for you. Very, very easy and breezy to understand. Then, early in this recording, I said to you, the other issue at play is whether the president can do this by bipartisan support. As one person just said a second ago in the comments, and it was a great comment, I couldn't see who it was, they're not going to get this by bipartisan support. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. The president is not going to get bipartisan support for the fourth stimulus package. In fact, he's not going to get it for the fifth stimulus package either. If you have not been holding your Larry Kudlow calculator in the last few weeks, let me give you the rundown of how much money we're looking to spend here. $3 trillion, $2 trillion, another $1 trillion, $3 trillion, $2 trillion, and another $1 trillion. The president's looking to spend $6 trillion between January and September, the first 9 months of his time in office. No Republican is going to support giving a president $9 trillion of deficit spending predominantly to run up in 9 months. So they're not going to support it. What's important to understand is that if there was any guessing game that there's no bipartisan support, it's now finalized. Why? About 3 weeks ago, the Republicans told the president they would do on the fourth stimulus package $600 billion compared to the president's $2 trillion offer. They would take out all climate. They would not pay all the infrastructure. And the president said, no, you got to give me money for climate, and I'm not going to reduce infrastructure. So the White House's press corps said, come back to us with a counteroffer, meaning formal. They did that 2 days ago. And the president saw it and said, no, I'm not going to even counter against it. And this is what they offered. No money for climate and $800 billion. The president said that's not even worth even discussing. I'm not going to do that. So away we go to reconciliation. Reconciliation is the only process that gives you those stimulus checks. Now, here's another thing you need to know is that you may be sitting back and saying, in 2020, we could barely get this from this government, and it just looks like a lot of money, these stimulus checks. Understand, this is a whole nother year, a whole nother administration, and I want to give you a reference point. This week, we learned that the President of the United States, under the fifth stimulus package in September, is going to propose the following legislation. He's going to propose to make the child tax credit a 5-year provision on top of the 1 year right now, so that every child 17 to newborn gets $300 a month for 6 years. Yes, that's $3,600 or $4,000 approximately times 6 years, $24,000. So if he has no qualms in paying $24,000 to a child, he'll certainly have no qualms paying you $8,000. Your amount of money dwarfs in comparison to what the president has literally gone on the record saying he wants to do. Let's go back to your calculations. This is the single biggest payout you've ever had on this channel. So Purple Power, viewers of this channel, you need to push. You need to push to ensure that the president starts reconciliation as soon as possible. $2,000 a month per individual, $12,000. This is bigger than hazard pay. This is bigger than FPUC retro. This is bigger than SSI of $2,400. This is the single biggest payout you have ever seen on this channel. And this is what's likely to happen. Now, also coming up in this broadcast is the big exciting news about the SSI raise. Yes, yesterday and the day before, we had great new details of congressional leaders, whether it's Ron Wyden or Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, the same group who wants to give you multiple stimulus checks. Now they want to revise the entire Social Security system. And this is all of you if you're on benefits. There's incredible detail in what they want to do, and I'm going to go over the detail. And this is money that you would see this year. This is money for the fifth stimulus package. But it's important for you to understand that because this is not something that is no longer off the burner. This is no longer something that has been forgotten. This is now front page news. It is now signed by dozens and dozens of congressional leaders, and I have that coming up in just a second. But before that, let me go over this. Ron Wyden, just a few days ago on Friday, introduced an incredible senatorial bill, which could slide into the fourth stimulus package. Yes, it could slide into the fourth stimulus package. What is it? PUA, UI, and FPUC are all PUA, FPUC, and PEUC are all expiring in September. So Ron Wyden's proposal, which you as a member have the actual bill, is to create a lifetime new program. It would pay $250 a week, up to 6 months every year, as often as you need, lifetime, for anyone who's a PUA applicant that suffers financial hardship because of their work. It's incredible. It would be a replacement for PUA. And again, it could pay you up to $6,000. It would come from the federal government. You would apply from the federal government, not from the states. And it's absolutely incredible. Meantime, coming up also later in this recording, student loan debt forgiveness, business grants, and the big news about the housing numbers released this morning. It also signals where this economy is going for economic recovery. Are we accelerating too fast, or are we accelerating at just at the right speed? Of all those details and more, drop your comments during the commercial break. I may answer them after that. I'll be back in just 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Mornings LALATE. I see Felicia in the room, and John, and Francine, and Helen, and William, and there's Shirley Parker as well. You're watching an encore, earlier version of LALATE Mornings this morning, airing a little bit earlier because there is breaking news across the board. The breaking news came in from the financial news markets minutes ago, and I wanted to give it to you as soon as it happens. That's how we do it live on this channel. Coming up next is Noontime LALATE at noontime, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Afternoons LALATE continues 2 hours after that. That's that big show that's also live. And then we go into our evenings programming schedule. The second afternoon show is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then evenings LA 8 p.m., and then LA Late Night at 10 p.m. All those shows from yesterday are now archived on the channel if you missed them from yesterday. How are you? It's a big morning. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're approaching our 1-year anniversary on April 25th, so I'd love you to become a subscriber. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Remember to like the videos, as many likes as you can. One of the videos yesterday had, I think it was like 35,000 views and had 800 likes. It's like, wait a second, come on. Make sure you like the video. Generally, you do a great job of that. So away we go. Another big economic data that came out minutes ago from Wall Street that really surprised a lot of people is the housing number came out. And the housing number is not directly correlated to what we talk about when we're concerning unemployment. But the existing home sales dropped for the second month in a shocking data. and it showed that existing homes sold at a 17% increase from a year before, 1.17, but it shows that existing homes fell 4% for the second month in a row. The reason why the number is not particularly on point for purposes of understanding stimulus is there's a lot of reasons why the number is up and why the number is down, and a lot of people try to spin the number. It's not particularly clear. So let's move on. SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits. Boy, really exciting, great news. Exciting, great news as we now finally have the incredible push by 20 plus congressional leaders to do a reform of the Social Security system. During all of last year, during all of earlier this year, people asked, what about the SSI, SSDI this and the SSI, SSDI that? Here you go. It's happening. It's finally happening. If you've been away for a few days and just coming back into the mix, get ready for the excitement because you should be excited. First, remember that Elizabeth Warren was the one who had debuted all these ideas when she was running for president. And then the president adopted them during his campaign. And then he had them in his transition papers and in the fall. So you have been asking about the 3 items: increasing your benefits, a new benchmark, and also tying it to another item, and finally the $2,400. Well, guess what? Let's get that pen and start to check one after another off the list. This is what they want to do for SSI reform. Those congressional leaders wrote a scathing, massive letter 2 days ago that wants to increase your benefits, increase asset limits, tie you to a new inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and then remove the marriage penalty. Okay, that's broadly what it is. Let me slow it down right now and go over each one. First, they want to raise all your benefits. So viewers have been asking me, is this one time or is this lifetime? No, this is a one-time lift that's lifetime. So you're at a number now, they want to raise you up, and that will be your new number. You will never go lower than that new number. They want to raise you up to a big, bold, beautiful new number. And that's across the board. This is SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. Raise everyone up to a big new number. Okay, so now you're at the big new number. That's your new number going forward. Then, every year in December, you have your benefits reassessed. And in the past, you've been tied to COLA, which doesn't move, so your benefits don't increase. Some years, your benefits are the same as the year before. They say that can't happen anymore. They want to tie you to a new benchmark. Check this one off the list. Number 2, what's the new benchmark? Inflation. Wow, that's better than even CPIE. It's the best benchmark they could choose. Why? Because inflation indicates price of goods sold. It shows you what milk is doing and what eggs is doing and what gas is doing. And inflation is always 2, 3, 4% in this economy. So you'll know every year your benefits will always go up about 1 to 4%. It's very easy. Remember, you can go up, but you won't go down. You could either stay the same, go up, or those 2 options. You'll never go down. So they're going to raise you up, and then each year they're going to raise you up a little bit more as inflation is taken for account. Then the other great news is that they want to remove the current income cap. If you want to go work, or you are working, as a beneficiary, you can't work above a certain amount of money, otherwise you fall off of benefits. They want to get rid of that. They want to get rid of that and start anew and give an enormous amount of money you can make per month and still stay within benefits. They want to raise the ceiling on that cap. And then they want to tie that ceiling to inflation. So each year, the amount of money you can make if you do want to work can go higher and higher. Finally, want to get rid of the marriage penalty. Incredible great news. Incredible great news. So where is this going to happen in LA? When is it going to happen? How does it happen? It's going to happen in the 5th stimulus package in September. That 5th stimulus package is called the American Family Plan. The American Family Plan starts in September. It won't finish in September. It starts in September. So it's going to take it's going to take 2 months. It's going to be another recon. But you're going to see these benefits change this year. So it's finally incredible great news. Then certainly you got your pen ready to check off that last item on the list. I hear you. It's the $2,400 of SSI and SSDI. This one's a harder one. Remember, you're getting those multiple stimulus checks if you're on SSI. So those multiple stimulus checks are for everyone on this channel. So that's happening. But Elizabeth Warren, guess what? She's making another push. Yep. And next Tuesday, she's written the letter. Next Tuesday, she's going to have a hearing in the Senate about her wealth tax. Yep. Her wealth tax was what she had promised during her campaign trail to pay for $2,400 of SSI. And in January, she introduced the wealth tax bill, finally. Now, we haven't heard much about the wealth tax bill in several weeks, and I know $2,400 is based upon 12 months, and we're heading towards the end of the pandemic. So there's less likelihood to see the full $2,400. But there is new hope as she's now putting her wealth tax front and center. Remember, SSI reform will give you all those other things you've been wanting. More benefits, lifetime. A new benchmark, lifetime. A new ability to make money if you want and stay on benefits. A new ability, I forgot another one. A new ability to keep more cash on hand and stay on benefits. And then finally, one of the questions I often get when people talk about forced stimulus is they say, can I get this forced stimulus because it's taxable? No, it's not taxable. Stimulus checks are not taxable. So yes, you do not have to worry about going off of benefits from getting fourth stimulus, monthly stimulus checks. They are not taxable, and they do not count towards your income on hand. And that's the great news to start. So what else is happening? Well, the student loan debt forgiveness, we have not heard back from the president. And I guess they've forgotten to do the forgiveness letter. That forgiveness letter was due to the president from his education secretary last Friday. I'm not quite sure where it is. Forgot to do the forgiveness letter. The student loan forgiveness forgotten letter. I don't know what's going on. The president is doing a lot of stuff. Whether it's the saloon or the salon, he's doing a lot of stuff. And it's not particularly clear where that is. Also not particularly clear is what's going on with those computers at SBA. SBA is having a computer problem again. I guess it's the same computers from 2020. So first, the $10,000 EIDL grant increase from 2020. Congratulations to the viewers who've gotten it. If you got an email asking you to increase your benefits in February and haven't heard back, you're stuck in a vortex. So congratulations, you're stuck in a vortex. They know about the vortex and they're getting around to it. So don't fret or be worried. And I know you're sitting back and seeing people who did this in March and they're getting paid before you. Yeah, that's what's going on. Then the shuttered venue grant is shuttered because the computers are shuttered. Not particularly clear why SBA can't, since they're not paying your grant, why can't they put some of their money to get some better computers? Not particularly clear what's going on with that. They admit they're having problems with the computers. I'll check and see if it's gone live today. It was down all. They sent a very long memo apologizing last Friday. At least they understood what's going on. The PPP grant is now extended, and there is no grant to start a new business. And the $5,000 grant to go help your existing business under the third stimulus has not happened. Meantime, when we're looking at the assistance for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more, just a few days ago, there was a new report that said second stimulus, December last year's stimulus for rent, utilities, internet, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance has been slow to land in some states. Other states it hasn't. But the good news is it's all going to be there for third stimulus and second stimulus by May. So a lot of things happening. If you're just joining me, let me tell you the big recap where we are to start the new morning. The big recap is that when we're looking at those monthly fourth stimulus checks, we are dependent upon two concerns. One, that the president does it by bipartisan support, and two, that the economy recovers at a faster rate than it was just a few weeks ago. Yesterday, we learned that there's no bipartisan support. It's not even in the same ballpark. It's not even close. So the president's going to have to start recon any minute. Remember, it's a July bill for a July vote where checks go out in July, starting for the month of July. Recon takes 2 months, so he has to start in just a few weeks. That's number one. Number two, we were worried that the growth of economic numbers may accelerate faster than where they were 2 weeks ago. If they would accelerate fast, if they did accelerate faster this week or next week, that could signal trouble that the acceleration and the rebound of this economy could be fully restored by the time the bill gets to the Senate in July. Today we learned that's not a concern so far. The incredible numbers that came in for unemployment today showed that the unemployment new jobless claims remained relatively the same growth level of recovery from the week before. We did not accelerate. Understand, 2 weeks ago, we were at 700,000 claims. Then we dropped 500,000 to last week. This week, we didn't drop another 500,000. In fact, we stayed almost the same. The previous week, last week was 576. This week was 547. So we are calming down and staying at the same growth level, which is perfect for forced stimulus. And then we have the second number that's always released on Thursdays, which is the continuing unemployment claims. It shows that the number is relatively flat, that there's still 17.4 million people unemployed. Here's what you need to know, is that that's the number that people are going to cite in the White House. And they're right. Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, the president, any congressional leader like Chuck or Nancy are going to cite the 17.4. They're going to say there's 17.4 million Americans unemployed. There's 8 million jobs missing. We need stimulus checks. And they're going to be absolutely right. So for now, we are really good. Really good. I mean, it's a great news morning and great news across the board for you for forced stimulus. We have economic data staying relatively stable, and we have bipartisan support not likely happening. With that, I see a full room with Francine and Cassandra and Lisa and John, and there's Leanne, and there is Liz as well. I hope you've had a beautiful morning. And join me later. The excitement continues on our full programming schedule. Thank you for tuning in last night in big numbers. Let's continue to help this channel grow and continue to tune in. No one does the scope of coverage like this channel. Coming up next is noontime at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then afternoons LA at 4 p.m. Then we go into the evenings programs, afternoons at 6 p.m., evenings at 8 p.m., and LA Late Night. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling. Make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. If you forgot to like the video, hit that like button right now. And I will see you later as LA continues today. Have a great morning.